I wasn't born unbreakable. I wasn't born disciplined, relentless, or hungry. I was born weak, full of excuses, and chained by my own comfort. For years, I lived in the shadows of my own potential, hiding from the truth. I looked in the mirror every morning and saw someone who was running from pain, running from responsibility, running from the man I could be. And one day I had enough. I realized no one was coming to save me. No one was going to drag me out of bed, silence the voice in my head that said, "Stay comfortable," or force me to chase the life I wanted. That responsibility was mine. Changing my life didn't start with motivation. Motivation fades. It started with a decision. One moment when I drew the line in the sand and said, "I will no longer live like this." That decision became a promise to myself, a promise that I would not quit, not back down, not let weakness dictate the rest of my story. And the truth is, the path forward was brutal. Every single day, I faced a battle with myself. The battle against laziness, against fear, against that voice that kept telling me to stop. But I understood something important. If I wanted to change my life forever, I had to first master my mind. There were mornings I woke up and every cell in my body screamed to stay in bed, but I stood up anyway. There were workouts that broke me down, left me gasping, questioning why I was doing this, but I kept pushing. There were failures stacked on failures, nights of doubt, days of loneliness, and moments where it would have been easier to quit. But quitting had already stolen too much from me. I was done being a victim of my own excuses. I built my new life through suffering. I embraced the pain because pain was the path to growth. Every time I wanted to quit, I reminded myself this pain will pass, but quitting will last forever. I hardened my mind 1 rep, 1 mile, 1 painful choice at a time. I stopped chasing comfort and started chasing the person I knew I could become. Slowly, the mirror started to change. I saw someone stronger, someone tougher, someone who no longer made excuses, but demanded results. And here's the truth. Changing your life isn't about some miracle, some overnight success, or waiting for the perfect time. It's about doing the work when no one's watching, when you're tired, when you failed, when everything inside you screams, "Stop." It's about becoming obsessed with self-respect, obsessed with proving to yourself that you are capable of more than you ever imagined. I changed my life forever by deciding to stop negotiating with weakness and start living with discipline, by refusing to accept the life I hated and building the life I wanted, brick by brick, day by day, through struggle, pain, and sacrifice. And if I can do it, so can you. Because the power to change is not out there. It's inside you, waiting for you to finally stop running and take control. Change begins the moment you stop making excuses and take full responsibility for your life. That was the hardest truth I ever had to face. For years, I carried a backpack full of excuses on my shoulders. Why I wasn't fit, why I wasn't successful, why I wasn't happy. I blamed my circumstances, my past, my environment, and even the people around me. I had a reason for everything, and every reason was nothing but a comfortable lie that allowed me to stay the same. As long as I had excuses, I didn't have to confront the painful reality that I was the one holding myself back. Excuses are nothing but chains, and they keep you locked inside the life you say you want to escape. The day I decided to take responsibility was the day everything shifted. I remember looking in the mirror and realizing no one was coming to fix my life. No mentor, no coach, no family member, no miracle, just me. I could either keep lying to myself, or I could face the brutal truth that I was where I was because of the choices I made. That moment hurt. Responsibility is heavy. It means you can't hide anymore. It means you have to accept that every wasted day, every missed opportunity, every time you quit was on you. But it also means something powerful. If you got yourself into this, you can get yourself out. Excuses give you permission to stay weak. Responsibility forces you to grow. When I stopped pointing fingers and started pointing them at myself, I discovered the strength I had been avoiding all along. I could no longer say, I didn't have the time, because the truth was I wasn't willing to make the time. I could no longer say I wasn't given the chance, because I had never created the chance. I could no longer say it's too hard, because deep down I knew I was just scared of the pain. By stripping away the excuses, I was left with only one option: action. Taking responsibility doesn't mean you won't fail. In fact, it means you'll fail even more, because now you're actually trying. But here's the difference: when you own your failures, they stop being the end of the road and start becoming stepping stones. Every failure becomes feedback. Every mistake becomes a lesson. Every setback becomes fuel. And the only reason most people never change is because they'd rather protect their ego with excuses than face the pain of accountability. But when you decide to own your life, failure doesn't destroy you, it builds you. I had to retrain my mind to stop thinking like a victim. A victim says, why me? A leader says, what can I do about it? A victim waits for conditions to change. A leader adapts and makes progress no matter the conditions. Once I stopped feeling sorry for myself and started owning my reality, I realized how much power I had been given away. Power to excuses. Power to comfort. Power to weakness. Taking responsibility meant taking back that power. You can't change what you don't own. If your health is bad, own it. If your relationships are broken, own it. If your career is stuck, own it. That doesn't mean you caused every problem, but it means you're responsible for how you respond to it. Life will throw challenges at you, unfair situations, obstacles you never saw coming, but you still control how you handle them. Excuses tell you that life is unfair, so you might as well give up. Responsibility tells you that life is unfair, but you're going to fight anyway. And that fight is where transformation begins. The moment you stop making excuses, you strip away the illusion that you're powerless. You're not powerless. You've just been lying to yourself. Excuses are soft pillows that keep you comfortable, but never let you grow. Responsibility is the hard truth that wakes you up in the middle of the night and reminds you there's work to do. That's where real change starts. The decision to stand up, look in the mirror, and say, this is my life, and everything changes when I take control of it. Discipline, not motivation, is the foundation of lasting transformation. Motivation is like a spark. It burns hot for a moment, then fades into nothing when the wind blows. Discipline is the fire you build brick by brick, log by log, and it stays burning when the storms come. For years, I chased motivation. I thought that if I just felt inspired enough, I'd finally get my life together. I'd watch a video, read a book, hear some words that fired me up, and for a few hours, maybe even a few days, I'd push harder. But then the feeling would fade, and I'd fall right back into my old habits. Motivation lied to me. It told me that if I waited for the right moment, the right emotion, the right energy, I would change. But that moment never lasted. Discipline is different. Discipline doesn't care how you feel. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired, stressed, broken, or uninspired. Discipline shows up no matter what. It's the alarm clock that goes off at 4 a.m. and doesn't care if you're sore from yesterday. It's the voice that says, do it anyway. Motivation whispers, but discipline commands. And the day I stopped chasing the high of motivation and committed to the grind of discipline, my life started to transform for real. At first, discipline feels like punishment. It feels like dragging yourself through mud with no reward. Your body screams, your mind resists, and every excuse you ever had comes rushing back. But discipline isn't about the moment. It's about the long game. It's about training your mind to obey, to follow through, To do the thing you said you would do even when every fiber of your being wants to quit. That's where strength is built, not in the easy moments, but in the moments where you prove to yourself that your word means more than your feelings. When I made discipline my foundation, I stopped negotiating with myself. I didn't ask, do I feel like doing this? I asked, did I say I was going to do it? If the answer was yes, then it was already decided. Discipline removes the debate. There's no more bargaining with weakness, no more letting emotions dictate your actions. Discipline makes the choice once, and then you follow through again and again until it becomes who you are. The results don't come fast. That's why so many people quit. Motivation wants instant gratification. Discipline plays the long game. You might not see changes after a week, after a month, even after a year. But while everyone else is quitting and restarting over and over, discipline keeps you moving forward. Day after day, brick by brick, you build a version of yourself that no one can take away. Discipline gives you consistency, and consistency creates transformation. I used to think motivation was fuel, but I learned it's discipline that gets you up when the tank is empty. It's discipline that carries you through the days you don't want to move, through the failures that knock you down, through the pain that tells you to stop. And over time, something powerful happens. Discipline becomes freedom. You stop being a slave to your emotions, to your excuses, to your moods. You gain control. You decide who you are, and you prove it every single day with action. Motivation might start the fire, but discipline keeps it alive. Motivation might get you out the door once, but discipline gets you out the door every morning. Motivation might inspire you to dream, but discipline builds the reality. If you want lasting change, stop waiting for a feeling and start building the habits. Stop relying on sparks and start stacking bricks. Because when the feeling is gone, discipline is what remains, and discipline is what changes your life forever. Pain and struggle are the pathways to growth and strength. Most people run from pain like it's a curse. They avoid discomfort, chase comfort, and design their lives around what feels easy. But here's the truth. Comfort is the enemy of growth. Nothing in my life changed until I stopped running from struggle and started running toward it. Pain became my teacher, and struggle became my training ground. Every breakthrough I've had came on the other side of something I didn't want to do, something that hurt, something that tested me so deeply I wanted to quit. Pain strips you down to nothing. It exposes the lies you tell yourself. It rips away the masks, the excuses, the comfort zones, and forces you to face the truth of who you are. When you're tired, sore, and broken, there's nowhere to hide. That's when you find out what you're really made of. Pain doesn't care about your feelings. It only reveals your limits. And if you're willing to lean into it instead of escaping it, you discover those limits aren't permanent. They can be pushed, stretched, and shattered. I used to think pain was punishment. When life got hard, I thought I was unlucky or cursed. But pain isn't punishment. It's preparation. Struggle forges strength the way fire forges steel. Without the heat, without the pounding, without the pressure, steel is just soft metal. Without pain, you remain soft, weak, untested. Pain is the tool that builds resilience, grit, and toughness. It teaches you to endure, to adapt, to rise when everything in you wants to stay down. Every struggle I faced, physical, mental, emotional, was a chance to grow. The long runs that shredded my legs, the workouts that made me want to throw up, the failures that embarrassed me, the nights of doubt where I wanted to quit, all of it built me piece by piece. Pain was not my enemy. It was the price of transformation. The more I leaned into it, the stronger I became. The more I embraced struggle, the less power it had over me. Most people never change because they're addicted to comfort. They only move when it feels good, and the second it hurts, they stop. But growth lives in that pain zone, not outside of it. You have to be willing to hurt today to become stronger tomorrow. You have to be willing to suffer, to push through the moments where your body and mind are screaming for relief. Every rep past failure, every mile past exhaustion, every challenge past your breaking point, that's where growth is hiding. The beauty of pain is that it teaches you things nothing else can. Comfort never taught me discipline. Struggle did. Comfort never taught me resilience. Pain did. Comfort never taught me how to fight for my life. Struggle did. And once you understand that, you stop fearing pain. You start to seek it out because you know that on the other side of it is a stronger, tougher version of yourself. There's a simple truth: pain is temporary, but growth is permanent. The soreness fades, the struggle passes, the suffering ends, but the strength you gain stays with you forever. Every time you endure something hard, you're stacking layers of toughness that no one can take away. You're becoming someone who doesn't break easily, someone who doesn't fold under pressure, someone who can face life's hardest challenges and keep moving forward. Struggle is not the obstacle, it's the way. Pain is not the enemy, it's the path. The more you embrace them, the more unstoppable you become. Because while others are running from pain, hiding from struggle, and living small in the name of comfort, you'll be running toward it, getting stronger, harder, and more relentless. And that's where real growth lies. In the pain you thought you couldn't handle but survived anyway. The power to change your life forever lies within your daily choices. It's not in some massive, once-in-a-lifetime moment. It's not in waiting for the perfect opportunity, the right conditions, or the big breakthrough. It's in the small decisions you make every single day when no one's watching. The choice to get up early instead of hitting snooze. The choice to work out instead of sitting on the couch. The choice to read instead of wasting hours scrolling. The choice to keep pushing when quitting feels easier. Those choices don't look big in the moment, but stacked over time, they shape who you are and what your life becomes. For years, I thought change had to be dramatic. I thought I needed a massive shift, a miracle transformation, something so big it would flip my life upside down. But life doesn't work like that. Real change is built like a wall, one brick at a time, one choice stacked on top of another. One decision today, then another tomorrow, then another the day after that. At first, the wall looks like nothing, but keep stacking those bricks, and one day you'll turn around and realize you've built something unshakable. Your choices are powerful because they define your habits, and your habits define your life. If your daily choices are weak, your life will be weak. If your daily choices are strong, your life will be strong. There's no shortcut around that truth. Every action you take either moves you closer to the person you want to be or further away. There's no neutral. Every time you choose comfort, you're reinforcing weakness. Every time you choose discipline, you're reinforcing strength. It's black and white. And the scary part is most people never realize that the tiny, who unimportant, choices they make each day are slowly writing the story of their lives. The difference between the person who changes their life and the one who stays stuck isn't talent, luck, or circumstances. It's consistency. It's choosing the hard path every day until it becomes who you are. That's where true power lies. When you realize you don't need anyone else's permission, you don't need a perfect plan, you don't need to feel motivated, you just need to make the right choice in the moment again and again until it becomes automatic. Daily choices create momentum. When you choose discipline today, tomorrow gets easier. When you choose weakness today, tomorrow gets harder. That's how people either spiral upward or downward. You don't fall off track because of one big mistake. You fall off track because you let small bad choices pile up until you're buried under them. But the opposite is true too. You don't succeed overnight. You succeed because small good choices stack up until you can't be denied. That's how transformation happens. I had to face the truth that every day I was either building the life I wanted or building the life I hated. There was no in between. If I skipped workouts, if I made excuses, if I wasted time, I was making deposits into weakness. But if I showed up, if I pushed through, if I made the hard choices, I was making deposits into strength. Over time, those deposits compounded and the results became undeniable. That's why the most powerful weapon you have is not motivation, not luck, not talent. It's your daily choices. When you fully accept that, your perspective changes. You stop waiting for the big moment. You stop complaining about the unfair breaks. You stop comparing yourself to others. Instead, you focus on what you can control, the choice right in front of you. And if you own that choice today, and tomorrow, and the next day, eventually you'll look back and realize you've changed your life forever. The life you want is hidden in the choices you make when no one cares, when no one's watching, when it would be easier to take the easy way out. That's where transformation happens, because the small choices you make today are creating the person you'll be a year from now, 5 years from now, 10 years from now. And the question you have to ask yourself is simple when that day comes. Will you be proud of the person you built or ashamed of the choices you avoided? When I look back at the person I used to be, I see someone who lived in chains of excuses, chains of comfort, chains of weakness. I thought life was happening to me, that I had no control, that my circumstances dictated my future. But the truth is, the day I stopped lying to myself, the day I stopped making excuses and took full responsibility for my life, everything started to change. That shift wasn't glamorous, it wasn't easy, and it sure as hell wasn't instant. It was brutal. But it was also the beginning of freedom. What carried me forward wasn't motivation. Motivation is fleeting. It comes when you feel good and disappears the second life gets hard. What carried me forward was discipline. Discipline became the backbone of everything. It meant doing the work when I didn't feel like it. It meant showing up on the days when every cell in my body screamed to quit. It meant holding myself accountable to the promises I made, even when no one was watching. Discipline was the key to consistency, and consistency was the key to transformation. And along the way, I learned that pain and struggle weren't there to destroy me. They were there to build me. Every painful workout, every failure, every setback carved out the strength I didn't know I had. Struggle became my teacher. Pain became the proof that I was moving forward. While the world ran from suffering, I ran toward it because I knew growth was hiding inside it. The more I embraced it, the stronger, tougher, and more unbreakable I became. But none of it mattered without the choices I made every single day. Big dreams don't mean anything without daily action. The life I wanted wasn't waiting in some future miracle. It was built in the present through small, relentless choices. Waking up when I didn't want to, putting in the reps when I was tired, pushing through when quitting was the easier option. Those daily choices stacked on top of each other until they became who I was. And that's when I understood the real truth. The power to change your life forever isn't out there. It's inside you, hidden in the decisions you make when no one else is watching. So if you want to change, stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for motivation. Stop waiting for someone to save you. No one's coming. It's on you. Take responsibility. Build discipline. Embrace pain. Own your choices. And if you do that long enough, you won't just change your habits. You'll change your entire life. Because the strongest version of you is waiting on the other side of struggle. And the only way to meet that person is to fight for them every single day.